Voters in Arizona will cast ballots tomorrow in primaries drawing national attention. In the GOP gubernatorial primary, former President Donald Trump has endorsed former local TV news anchor Kari Lake, who has repeated false claims about election fraud. She's up against former Arizona Board of Regents member Karen Taylor Robeson, who is endorsed by former Vice President Pence. The race continues to be close. A new poll from Emerson College shows the two candidates in a dead heat. Look at that. For more on this, Melanie Mason joins us now. She's a national political correspondent at the LA Times. Melanie, great to have you with us. Why is this race so close, and what is the defining issue for voters right now?
I think it's pretty remarkable, to be honest, that the race has clearly changed the momentum in the last couple of days, because Kari Lake, for most of this primary, has been wide out ahead in a lot of the polling. So clearly it seems like Karen Taylor Robeson is seeing a little bit of late momentum. And that's because we've seen a lot of Arizona's political establishment, like Governor Doug Ducey, sort of throw their weight behind her. Lake has made election fraud and Donald Trump's 2020 election lies sort of a signature issue, as well as bashing the media, which of course is an interesting position from her because she herself was a news anchor.
And I think that's what's just so remarkable. You know, I lived in Arizona for some time when we moved from England, and Kari Lake is very recognizable. She's known by most people in the Phoenix metro area anyway. I want to ask you about this. Arizona GOP Senate candidate Blake Masters has an 18-point lead right now over his closest competitor. How much sway does former President Trump hold in that race?
I think we can attribute this almost entirely to former President Trump, because Blake Masters has never run for statewide office or really any office, political office in Arizona before. So he is not somebody who was particularly well known, like somebody like Kari Lake, for example. And so having that seal of approval from President Trump, I think really sort of rocketed him to the top. And instead of, say, Attorney General Mark Brnovich, who is well known to the voters, you have this tech entrepreneur who has a lot of money. He is self-funding and also has the support from Peter Thiel, who is a major funder as well, getting his name out there. But I think if not for Trump, we might be seeing a different shakeup in this race.
And there's other dynamics at play in the Grand Canyon state. Arizona is now represented by two Democratic senators, right? Mark Kelly and Kyrsten Sinema. This is for the first time in decades. I'm wondering how the recent shift in demographics in recent years, so many folks from California, for example, moved to Arizona. How might that mix up the primaries tomorrow?
I'm laughing because I was in Arizona last week, and almost every voter that I talked to at this Trump rally was indeed from California. So we are seeing that shift happen. Wow. And I think that what I will be watching for is, because we are seeing almost a real-time political realignment in this state, Arizona is becoming a battleground state. I think that we're going to be looking at some of the key constituencies in this state to see where they end up. So, for example, Latino voters have a ton of muscle in this state. There's typically been an assumption that they will align with Democratic candidates. But just as in other states, we saw in 2020 that there was some shift to the right among Latino voters. So for the primary, for example, I'm going to be looking to see in heavily Latino precincts, are we seeing them cast a lot of votes in Republican primaries? That might be an indication that Republican outreach efforts might be working.
State Representative Mark Finchem, who has repeated false claims about the 2020 election, may become the chief election official in the state. Just break down for us what this Trump-endorsed candidate is doing that's making him so popular, considering the stakes here.
I think that Mark Finchem is in almost a league of his own, because, let's be honest, it's almost a barrier to entry now, a requirement to entry for Republican candidates to at least play footsie with President Trump's lies about the election. But Mark Finchem has gone above and beyond. He was involved in the Stop the Steal movement from the beginning. He was in Washington, D.C. on January 6th, and he has been a very, very vocal proponent of these conspiracy theories with regards to the election in Arizona. So I think that there is a lot of concern among fair elections types, Democrats certainly, but I think anybody who wants to feel confident in the execution of the election in Arizona in 2024, if he becomes the top elections administrator, there is going to be a little bit of concern from those corners. So expect to see, if he makes it through the primary, a lot more interest in a Secretary of State's race than we probably would see in any other election year.
And yet another reason why, these local elections really have national implications. Melanie Mason, thank you so much.
Thank you.